This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author U and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, top of the publishing day, and we are back with one of my favorite people in all the world, social media guru Melody Jones, who has a really slick, click, and tick group that if you're really serious about social media, you should know about it. The social media Aspirin.com really group where Melody coaches you, she guides you, she always has amazing tips, and it's very exclusive, so I would suggest you check that out. All right, last week we were talking about social media in general, which we're going to continue today, but also we did some deep diving into Facebook and Twitter, and just what was going on with tips of that. So I'm going to encourage you, without recapping all of that, to go back and listen to that broadcast on that. And today we want to really dive into more of what's going on with LinkedIn, and of course the holy grail of two, Pinterest and Instagram, and also some of the other goodies and maybe just overall trends that are happening. So Melody, welcome back.
Thanks so much. Happy to be back.
All right. So, LinkedIn.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. There's been a lot of changes since Microsoft took over, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, yes. If you log in very often, you'll see that they've revamped the entire look of the site. So they're really making a lot of changes, and you're kind of having to relearn where things are, is what's happening.
That's another yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah.
They basically, I just want to say they've rebuilt their company pages from the ground up, where you're better able to see some analytics behind the scenes on how, what's happening on your page. And when I say company page, I guess it's sort of equivalent to Facebook business page, kind of, in that it's a separate from your personal feed and your personal account on Facebook. And so for authors, that would be their author page. That would be the way to think of it, but they call it a company page. I would encourage people to get back. If you don't have a company page on LinkedIn, get in there and make one for you as an author. Get in there and make one and start to use it, because one of the things that they also made a change to, and I may have touched on this last week as well, is that they now have native video capability on company pages. And so this is where you can create video and upload it directly to your company page and really provide the value to your readers with your expertise. So those are some of the changes that have happened.
Page, make sure you add your logo, everybody, whatever your logo is. On there, because that will show on the overall profile with that.
It does.
But so what's the difference between the regular posting page and the profile and the company page?
What's the difference between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the main difference is on the company page, it looks a little different. You're going to still add in who you are as an author and what your books are about, what your expertise is. So it's another way to build your expertise out there. But they just have, the difference is there's analytics, which just is a fancy word for showing what's happening behind the scenes. How many people are looking at your at the content you're putting up? How many people are visiting your account? It gives you basically more information. That's what a company page does for you. And it also lends to because it's LinkedIn, it lends to your credibility. And credibility, as we know, is a primary part of building your author platform. Is your credibility. People look to see if you know what you're talking about. And that's another thing that a company page does. So that's the difference, is it just has the analytics behind the page, and you can put a more, put a business face and an author face to what you're doing.
All right. So we can add videos, which is a good thing. Is there any chance to link over to, like some of us are very active in blog land, to bringing blogs in? on that company page, or do we do the other trick, the publishing trick?
The publishing trick. I actually don't know. I don't know what they're doing with that, truthfully. Most of us who have done the blog, the publishing on there, have done it through our personal accounts, what they call our personal accounts, with great success. Right. I would certainly continue that. This is how people know us. I feel like your personal connections see that more readily than they might from your company page.
Well, Melody, it was somewhere I got input, and I don't know if they still do it, but if you had 500 contacts, and I don't know where you are, I have about 13,000 from the personal side, that they would let those people know that there was a new publishing item up. I don't know if they still do that.
I believe they do still do that. Okay. I don't think they've taken that away from us. Yeah, I believe you are, yes, alerted to that.
Then I have another idea, because you and I were lamenting about the groups have been kind of pushed aside, which were so powerful. I felt that was one of the most powerful things that LinkedIn could do for authors.
I agree. And not only could, join a group and interact, but have form your own group was it was powerful for many years.
Yeah, I can tell you when I would let my group know that I had a new webinar, at least 200 people would sign up from the group to attend it. Okay. We can't do that anymore. But now with what you just said, I'm going to do an experiment, and I'll let you know how this works out. Because we haven't been posting. We haven't, we make an announcement like in the feed, but we haven't done a post out to write a little story. I write a page anyway about the webinar and publish it that way. And maybe that's what we ought to do.
Maybe that's your new strategy. And, and LinkedIn loves it when you publish on their platform. And so I think a lot of people see those. That's been my personal experience.
I'm going to experiment with that. I'll let you know what the feedback,
I would love to hear, yes.
If we see an increase. Yeah, because there's got to be there's always some workarounds in something. And when someone can figure it out, we just you want to get it out and share it with everyone.
And experimenting is a good thing in social media. You just never know what's going to hit, and maybe you'll be on the forefront of something, so get out there and do it.
All right.
One of the other changes they made was you can send a voice message of up to 1 minute to contacts on LinkedIn. Now, I've not tried that. But wouldn't that be a great way to personalize, the message that you're sending to somebody?
Well, I am. Voice message. Okay, so here's. I guess maybe it's not a prejudice, a bias, that I get so many emails. I don't know if you've ever looked closely at and all of you, I'm going to encourage you to look at my contact page on my website on thebookshepherd.com. But my lead thing on my contact, it says, if you're impatient, here's my phone number, call me. This one says, if you like.
I've seen that.
Because that I have been in situations, and I bet you have, Melody, and as well as a lot of you listeners, that there is so much that goes back and forth with email. You think, oh, for God's sakes, would you just pick up the phone? Mm-hmm. I have that all the time.
It's true. And I'm sure you've noticed this. It can be a generational thing. There are, and I'm sure you've noticed that younger generations tend to want to text and do things, in written format more than call people. You and I are more from a generation where let's just call it, get it hashed out verbally, call it done. It's easier. I think it's easier. You get more done quicker. But there's a generation I deal with sometimes where that's not how they prefer to communicate.
Oh, there's no question.
An interesting thing.
Yep, there's no question. I have actually a stream with 5 of us who make comments on politics that we keep to ourselves. And we're all on at the same time. It's wild. And we text. Wow. And I have to tell you, we're all over 65.
That's no surprise. No surprise. How we like to communicate. Yeah, for sure.
It's different. But that's good. All right. So I'll figure out the voice thing, but I will do a personal experiment with the next webinar we do and just start doing a push and saying, the go, and see if we do see an increase in traffic signups. Because that would
be interesting. Yes, I'd love to hear what you come up with.
Well, I will definitely broadcast it out to you. All right. Anything else on LinkedIn? So we don't know the blogs. Here's what everyone should be doing with the blogs. Write your blogs, repurpose it, give it a new title, rearrange some of your bullets, rearrange your first paragraph, and republish it as the new one. Google gods will love it.
Yes, they will. You can do that. Yes, everybody. Yes, repurpose everything you can. If you've created it, find every way you can to use it everywhere you can. Absolutely. And I agree with Judith wholeheartedly. Don't have the same paragraph in the same wording. Definitely change that up and have a different title. And you'll get a lot of people will see it, and you can see stats on how many times it's been read. So you'll see some growth that way. By publishing on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Any other tips on publishing there?
I just, I mostly just want people to get that company page up and get their logo up on there and really just start being consistent on LinkedIn. Get in there a couple times a week and really just, one of the best stories I ever heard was a man who reaches out behind the scenes and finds something that he has in common with a new contact and just comments on that thing that they have in common. And it could be anything from an alma mater to carrot cake. And I'm not kidding about the carrot cake. Get out there and start a conversation with these people and be a real person. You're actually going to get farther doing that, but it is a little bit labor intensive, but it's worth it.
It is labor intensive. And also we might as well add on, if we're going to go to our first break here, but what's really important, if you are trying to connect with media, go behind the scenes and try and find something that they have either written or they have talked about or something that you start that connection. It is gold when you can do that.
Gold. Oh, worth it. Totally worth your time to do that.
Totally gold. All right, everyone. With us is Melody Jones. We're talking social media. When we come back, I want her to really open up and kiss on the knee.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U shows you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you will find a supportive and brainstorming community that is connected and creative, no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual Author U extravaganza. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. Author U is the premier authoring resource in the country, creating community, education, guidance, vision, and success for the serious author. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, Author U is for you. Timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted on its social media platforms, and it is free. Discover Author U, where authors go to become seriously successful. Join Author U today at authoru.org.
First impressions are everything in the world of book publishing. Whether your book is an ebook, a print version, or both, your book cover needs to pop, sizzle, and sparkle to immediately capture the attention of your audience. And your book's interior needs to be just as dynamic and reflect the professionalism your readers demand. Nick Sellinger of NZ Graphics has won numerous national and international book awards for his cover designs and interior layouts. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design, he knows what it takes to create award-winning books and the many promotional pieces that authors need, such as posters, banners, postcards, one-sheets, business cards, logos, and more. Visit ncgraphics.com and see what authors and publishers have to say about their award-winning books and how NZ Graphics can make your book the success it was meant to be. That's nzgraphics.com.
Are you confused about publishing options? Do you know which printing option is best for your book? Does your stomach flip when you think about selling books? Or do you feel overwhelmed with what to do about book marketing and publicity? Get the answers and much more. Get them and from someone who knows publishing inside and out from both the traditional and independent sides, how to make a successful book. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand and platform, and is a success, a bestseller. It is your choice. You choose. If you want author and publishing success, you want Judith Briles as your book coach. Sign up for her weekly blogs and e-zine at thebookshepherd.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so here we are, and I don't know what hour, the second hour of talking about really the essentials of social media. It is your town hall of marketing in many, many cases. There's other avenues, but this is one of the avenues you do need to take advantage of. Melody Jones was with us. She is the brains behind socialmediaaspirin.com. And last week we talked about Facebook and Twitter. We've been talking about LinkedIn. I wanted, when we came back, because one of the commonalities every social media channel has is a profile of who the owner is. And I wanted Melody to kind of kiss on that a little bit so that all of you need to maybe do a bit of a makeover or look over what you've got. And is it relevant to who and what you are? And maybe that's the best way to say it.
Absolutely. I kind of call it spring cleaning. So we're at the right time of year
Yes.
to do a little spring cleaning. Yeah, spring cleaning, people, on your social media accounts. So as an author, we've talked incessantly about the fact that you are a brand in and of yourself. You are a brand, just like any brand you can think of. And so branding consistency matters so that people recognize you at a glance. And this is all the way from what photograph of yourself do you use, to the colors that you have, to logos that you create, to any taglines that you have, must be consistent across every social media platform that you use. And all of them do have some kind of bio that you can put in there about who you are and what you do. Now, the thing to remember, though, is some bios are extremely short. So the one on Twitter, I believe, is 160 characters.
Yes,
so you really have to be very tight about what you talk about. But you can still have a photograph that people recognize as being you. You can still use the colors that you use. Is everything up to date? And this is something I've talked about in a blog post I wrote for Author You not long ago. And that is, you may have a really fantastic photograph of yourself that you dearly love and you love to death so much that you have it up there for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
If you have a 10-year-old photo, out. Get over it. I'm going to use Judith's favorite phrase, get over it. Get that out and get a current picture, because people want to know who you are and what you look like today.
Yeah, wrinkles and all. If you've got wrinkles
and all.
Wrinkles and all.
That's right. Smile lines are good. It means you smile. We like that. Yeah. It's fine. Be who you are today. This is what we want to know. So a current photograph is part of your branding, and you would upload, get some professional ones done, get some headshots done, and upload those to your accounts across the board, every account, and your website.
Yeah.
So that people recognize that that's you at a glance. They know it's you. And furthermore, a mistake I see on LinkedIn sometimes is authors will have upload a picture of themselves at a distance. So you might see, it might be a full body picture. I knew of one person who, without doing something athletic, maybe playing baseball. It's just not good enough. You have to be upfront and personal. People want to see a headshot. They want to see your face. So
and
make that a standard.
sometimes you'll see them really up close. Sometimes you'll see almost like a mask of the eyes. I mean, different things, and they're catchy, I think. But I mean, I like to just see the face and see.
They just people want to see your face. That's right. And furthermore, let's just say that you have, maybe you write on dogs, include your dog in your picture with you if it's appropriate to do so, but not just a picture of your dog, because your dog didn't write your book. You wrote your book.
I know.
Same thing with key lime pie. I think my joke was key lime pie. If you're an expert on key lime pie, by all means, have a photograph of yourself with your key lime pie. Don't just do a photograph of key lime pie. So
yeah, and so I would tell people to avoid avatars. And I see a lot of avatars, and that for companies, like for Author U, we use the Author U logo or the Twitter handle. And companies, I mean, that's part of your branding. That's fine. But I think
I agree.
When it's you, it's you. And then it becomes memorable. And Melody is so right. Do change. I change mine every couple of years, and and sometimes I'll have different ones. Well, Melody, we have all these. Should we have the same one on the same channel everywhere, or should you mix them up a little bit as long as they're current?
You know, I think I normally might say keep it the same everywhere, but if they're current and they're similar, and I know it's you by looking, make it recognizable to you. Don't change it too much because it's still a branding thing. But yeah, you could change your headshot around a little bit if you just have a different angle or background or something like that. Sure, you could do that. Right. And then just be aware, if you have other photographs that you really love about yourself, put those on your website somewhere. Then, you can just say, me 20 years ago when I first published my first book or something. You can still put those out there if you feel the need to do that. and your website's the place to do that. But if for branding for today, you got to be current.
All right. So as Melody says, we're in springtime right now. This is a great time to do a sweep stuff around and clean up. And we're talking about social media, but don't forget your website as well. Start taking a peek at some of the stuff that you're doing in that arena there. So thank you. I did want to kiss on profiles. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. You're welcome.
All right.
A passion of mine.
Yes. All right. Let's jump into Instagram and Pinterest.
Okay. So Instagram is owned by Facebook, and it has the most growth right now, especially in the United States. So it's very popular. It's the place to be. It's for those of you, I'm going to assume that our listeners know what Instagram is. It's a graphics-only social network. So pictures and graphics are what goes up there. That's the primary thing people say. Of course, you're going to put some text, some text with it in your hashtags and so forth. But the whole point to that is the graphic. The graphic or the photograph that you upload. And so within that, they have something in Instagram called stickers. And I know we talked about this at your group recently. A sticker is just a graphic that you overlay a post, and it can have any number of, it can be any kind of thing. Sometimes it's a smiley face, or you can put a graphic that has a date on it, but you can do a countdown graphic. And it literally counts down to an event. So let's just say that your book is launching on May 1st. You can put a story up on Instagram with a graphic and a countdown sticker, and it will count that down and show people how long till your book is released. Okay. And then what it does is then it comes back and it alerts that person. Anybody that clicked on that gets alerted that the countdown has finalized, and then they know your book is released.
Okay, so let me get my head around this. So internally with the Instagram platform, there is something, we click on something called stickers. Is that correct? Or what?
Yeah. Well, when you load it up, it only works in stories. And so stories is different than what you're posting on your regular profile. Okay. A regular post stays on your profile. So if I were to log into your profile, I would see your postings way back to whenever you started. A story is something that lives on there for 24 hours. Facebook does the same thing. So it's just a short little spurt. And as you upload your story from your mobile device onto Instagram, they will give you the option to add stickers to your photograph or your graphic. And you can choose from those stickers, and you can just add that in there, and you can make it larger or smaller, move it around. They have a lot of functionality. And so a countdown sticker is one of the newer stickers that they've added in there, and it's really fun.
So would it automatically then repost as the countdown?
I don't believe it reposts. It just notifies anybody who interacted with that. It notifies them that the countdown has concluded and that the event is here, whatever that is.
All right. So it's not a reposting. It's not something that keeps it, because as you know, Instagram is instant. It is here now and gone very quickly.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It is. So as with most social media, then you want to be really consistent in your postings on Instagram. You want to be on there every day posting something.
Yeah.
Make sure you're doing your regular posts, the ones that I talked about, that when I log into your account, I can see all those posts. Those are what you want to post every day. If you have a little something extra you can add, that's what a story is for, and it's gone in 24 hours. So that's a little quickie that you can do. I've seen some brand names who, have branded content going out on their regular account. They will then add in a story of them enjoying an event, or enjoying some ice cream, or, walking down the pier and saying, "Isn't it a beautiful day?" So that's the difference between the two that authors should be aware of is there's the permanent stuff anybody can see, and then there's the stories of just a little 24-hour glimpse into your life as an author.
Got it. So for Instagram, one of the really cool things, one of my favorite tools is Canva. And on Canva, you can make, for free and fee, but you can make very cool posters. And with your own sayings, your quotes, or others, or whatever, these are so ideal to post up and just put a stream of them and keep them going all the time and get it on some kind of a scheduler. I know Hootsuite we can now schedule onto Instagram. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true. And there's more than one out there. So just you do a search and you can find different posting.
That's the way to do it. All right. We're with Melody Jones. We're talking about social media, and we're going to come back in just a few seconds, I'll say a few minutes, and talk more about how you can take Instagram and really snap, crackle, and pop your presence and grow your followers. We'll be right back.
Is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Discover the power of you and your book at the Judith Briles Unplugged events. Each summer, Judith Briles Book Marketing Unplugged unfolds over 3 intensive days working with just Judith. You get publishing strategies, author and book platforms, book marketing panache and pizzazz, and authoring tools to take you and your book to rock star success. In the fall and winter, Judith Briles Speaking Unplugged includes Judith as your coach and mentor during 2 powerful days. You will learn how to structure a speech, how to create openings and closings, how to find gigs that pay you and sell your books, and you will get one-on-one coaching. Go to thebookshepherd.com and click on the events tab to learn how to participate at the next Unplugged Workshop event.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, we're doing a social media blitz, and we just were talking about Instagram, and certainly it's hot. And Melody had a few more things that she wanted to really tune you into that can be done with what she calls the countdown. So, Melody, I'm back to you. Let's hear about that.
The main thing I want to mention is there's such a thing as IGTV. And it's a way to upload to Instagram long videos of up to 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I believe 10 minutes is as long as you can do, and it's your own IGTV channel. So anybody can make their own channel. So I would say that on Instagram for authors, just make sure you're just being consistent with your regular posts, but try some of these other things that they offer and see what hits with your audience. Try the stories, consider doing the IGTV channel, mix it up a little bit, see what hits with your audience.
Well, I have a question on the IGTV. If you up a little video to 10 minutes, and probably shorter would be better because you never know. How long does it last? Is this something that just lasts for a day and gone like stories, or what?
No, I don't think it's not gone in 24 hours to my knowledge. I believe it's there. Once you upload it, you have your own channel and it's there for people. It's going to
rest. So is this supposed to be the counter to YouTube in its own little way?
I sure don't know, but that's an interesting idea.
Well, I just thought I'd throw it out on the table.
Maybe it is, Judith. I like the way you think. Mostly just the main thing to remember with all social media is mix it up. Mix up what you're posting, whatever the platform allows. Try all of it, see what hits with your audience.
And so, Melody, before we jump into Pinterest, because I wanted to really make sure that, because Pinterest is big. It has a lot of lasting power. Can we kiss on YouTube a little bit? Because since I opened that window here.
You did open that window. Yeah, I know a little bit that we can talk about. Yep.
Yeah. And I will just tell everyone that one of the horror stories that we had that, I saw social media when it first came out. God, we have to, and all of us who were tuned into that started signing up for things, and we never put any thought into the branding side of it. We just pulled down stuff in different names. And it became, and I certainly did that with YouTube. I'm as guilty as everyone else, not knowing which channel I wanted to really land in. So we were kissing multiple things. And it's really been difficult. Now I know exactly what I want to do. And we've actually opened up a new channel that we're going to do where I'm just going to be doing publishing tips all the time. But trying to pull old videos and things like that from the other stations as literally, when we tried to go and recapture, because no one can figure out how to get into things anymore, that they said, so what date and year did you open the YouTube channel? Who knows?
Oh, I have no idea either. Crazy. I think you're saying all of that. I'm thinking back to my initial YouTube efforts, and I had the same thing. I was all over the board because I didn't know or understand enough about it.
Exactly.
And I don't think none of us saw YouTube in the old days as being a social media channel and as one to pay attention to with the same, the same persistence and consistency we do with others.
Exactly.
And so I'm guilty of it.
And it's the number 2 search engine. So, and so I really do believe that, and going back to what you said about adding video now to Twitter and other things that, and that little video short snips sometimes really pulls it in. Doing a 3-minute tip thing, max 5-minute tip thing on what your expertise is, or something about your book or the creation of your characters or the conflict that's going on, fill in the blank, I think is very powerful. But
I agree.
It's getting it into that spot that you can do it. And then the other thing is that we want to tell everyone, and we will be pushing a blast out to all our followers, is that you need to have on YouTube 100 people subscribe to your channel. Then you can customize it with your own URL on YouTube.
That's right.
All right.
Excellent tip. That's an excellent tip.
So that, that's all something that you want to think about. But it again goes back to what Melody and I have been talking about, is it's all about the branding. What is your brand? What do you want it to be? What do you want to be as the go-to person for fill in the blank?
That's exactly right. And I know you and I have discussed this with authors numerous times. If you think you don't have an expertise as a fiction author, you do.
You do. Oh, yes, you do.
You fill in a blank. You fill in a blank there, whatever that might be. I work with a romance author. I've mentioned her before. She's very niched down into paranormal romance, and her expertise then is to entertain and titillate. Okay, because it's more on the erotic side. That's her expertise. And I'm telling, and she has like uber fans. They love her. And so that's what she is. So her tag is
creating and tittillating.
Creating and tittillating right here, just for you. Yeah.
Romance. There you go.
Well, she's fun though. So she feels that's just an example of filling a need of readers out there, of a certain type of reader. And you can do it. Every author can do it. And so, YouTube is excellent for that.
YouTube is really resourceful. I'm just saying, if you jumped on early, some of your stuff could be lost. And we are trying to manipulate and figure out a way how to snag some of my videos and bringing them over in that I want to keep, that would be consistent with what we're doing under this book publishing channel. So,
yeah, big task, but worth the effort.
I know. It's work. It's work. Okay. Let's talk Pinterest.
All right. So Pinterest, we always group it in with social media. I like to say it's more of a bookmarking site. We're less social on there and more bookmarking things that are of interest. That's how people use it. And so they just pin things that they're interested in to different boards, and they're bookmarking it to look at later. And people do look at it later. And one of my favorite phrases that I stole from you is that Pinterest has legs.
Yes, it does.
You're the one that said that, and I thought, oh, that really makes sense. It has staying power. There has been more than one example of a Pinterest, a pin that has been posted, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that hits big today.
I know, it's crazy.
Just continues to. It's crazy how long they stick around. I mean, it has the best staying power out of all the sites we talked about for driving traffic to your website, or for tips, whatever it is people are looking for. It has the best staying power. So Pinterest is where to be for authors. And of course, the top subject matters that you see on there have been pretty standard across time: fashion, travel, beauty, health and wellness, hobbies, and anything with food, recipes. Anything with food is big.
It's huge with food.
It really is. And so under fashion is bridal, for example. That's big. Travel is huge right now, especially certain types of travel, like how to travel on a small budget, those kinds of things. So if you write in any of those categories, Pinterest is where you absolutely need to be. Let's just say you don't write in any of those categories. It's still where you need to be, because people do look for their authors there. And so one of the tips I would say is get creative with your board that you have on there. Maybe your board is about your characters. Maybe your board is about where your characters travel to. I mean, maybe it's just, tips. Even if you're a fiction author, you might have tips that your characters would give to their readers. You can just be so creative with what you do and make sure it goes back to your website. Because a lot of what you're doing here is you're driving to the website.
All right. So, you mentioned tips. Let's talk about, before we take our next break, because then we're going to get into trends and things.
Oh, yes.
In a segment. But that I know I've started making typographics and that's one of the things I referred to earlier. I wrote a blog post and I realized I had 10 tips, 5 things to be doing in social media, 5 to be on alert that this could be changing. And I said, man, okay. So I can break that into 5 things to do now, 5 things to be watching for. Those are 2 different typographics to then move them into Pinterest. That was the first thing I saw. Then I saw out of the 10, oh my gosh, now I have 10 tweets.
See, queen of repurposing right here. That's exactly, to everybody listen, this is exactly how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. And if you create a graphic using Canva, they have the pre-done dimensions that you need for Pinterest already figured out. All you have to do is plug in your information. Why can't you take that graphic and put it on your website? There's nothing that says you can't. I mean, just repurpose all over the place. Yeah,
make your life easier. So I'm going to go back to, I wrote a blog. That was one. I ended up with 10 tweets. Now I have 11. Then I had 2 different tip graphics to put up around, from Pinterest to Instagram to whatever. That's 13 beginnings that now can be spread around.
It is true. And why couldn't you also just fire up your handy dandy smartphone and do a little video tip with the tips that you just wrote?
Oh my God, I just missed that. Okay, so now I can double it.
You can.
If you can talk about each tweet, you can talk.
We're just, what we're all about here with Judith and Melody, what we're all about is, create it once and make it work for you as much as you can. That's
Absolutely.
What repurposing is. Do it, make it easier.
Yeah, one of the challenges with people's blogging, I can't think, oh, yes, there's just blogs everywhere. There's just so much. All right, we're going to wrap up, get on the ones that's your choice. 1 or 2, that's max. We're going to come back with Melody and we're talking trends.
Great.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and guide to collaborate with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You do not need more problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and chaos. At times, she has had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher, by a publishing service provider, and sometimes even by the author. If you want author and book success, connect with her today at thebookshepherd.com.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
So as we do this wrap up, I think it's always appropriate to look at what are the social media trends in the spring of 2019, what's going on. And of course, by fall of 2019, everything could be altered. Because that's
so true, and will be, yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's kind of talk about trends, and also make sure we kiss on what, Melody, you call smart audio.
Let's kiss on that. It's a big deal right now. So smart audio. The most well-known smart audio is Alexa. So everybody a lot of people have come to know what that is. Smart audio is present in about, I looked up some stats recently, in about 15% of United States homes. Mm-hmm. And 28% of those smart speaker owners use them to buy stuff. So when you see those commercials on TV and people are saying, Alexa, buy this product, 28% of people are doing that very thing. And the prediction is there will be 100 million smart speakers sold over the next year.
Wow.
That's the prediction. 100 million.
Wow.
People are really jumping on board with that. And they're available, Alexa itself is available in everything from like a microwave oven to a unit for the car. So it's really I know it's crazy. It's getting incorporated everywhere.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live take parody on it?
No, but you told me about it. I need to track it down.
Oh, I'll try to find it. It is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
I'm sure it's a commentary on the craziness of it.
Oh.
It's a crazy thought that you could just have this basically smart audio. It's basically a speaker sitting in your home that you can tell to do something, and it will do it for you.
Well, it's Alexa for seniors. That's how to find it on YouTube.
That's
Alexa
hysterical.
for seniors,
I can only imagine. Well, here's what I want to mention in terms of authors. One thing Alexa can do is Alexa herself, I guess we'll call her can read an ebook to you if you just tell it to, and it will be in that robotic Alexa voice. But that doesn't matter. I mean, you can tell it to read a book to you, and it will. The other thing is you can tell Alexa to please, fire up an audiobook, and you can listen to it. And people are using it in this way. And so when I saw that stat, I thought that is interesting for authors. So authors, if you don't have ebooks and audiobooks, you're missing the boat on that.
Yes, you are. If you don't, let me just say you all should have them. Print books, ebooks, audiobooks. No exception. Just do it. All right. Continue.
Listen to Judith. She knows what she's saying. Well, it's just something that you've got. So in terms of what authors can do is they can get up to speed on those things in preparation for and acknowledging that this is happening right now. Another stat I saw that's interesting is that 30% of searches online will be done without a screen in the next 2 years. In other words, people are going to search via smart audio instead of via Google where they type something. They're going to just search it with their voice. That's what's going to happen. It's coming. So
I'm wondering how that, on the affluencer stat, let me get my head around this, that Google has a gazillion pages for things. We know that 90% of people don't go past the first page when they're doing searches. And so it's always the vying for how do you get to be number one. So if you do a search and you say Alexa or whoever it is, find me, how are they going to select? Is this going to be buy your way in?
Boy, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to look. That's a really good question. I can tell you that there are some limitations right now. There is a lack of findability right now. So you have to know really specifically what to ask for. Mm-hmm. It's not, Google, how you'll start to type something into Google and it'll pop up suggestions. Mm-hmm. And that's not really happening with the smart audio yet. So they're working on, making it findability. And that also ties into discoverability. And so Google and Facebook, if anybody's ever noticed, if you do a search of any kind, Google and Facebook pay attention, and then they give you recommendations because they have paid attention to what you're searching on. So that's a discoverability thing, and smart audio isn't up to speed on that yet. And there's also right now a lack of content available that can be used with smart audio. So that's why I say it's smart for authors to get up to speed with audiobooks right now so that their content is out there right now and available.
Wow.
Because they don't have that much, there's not as much competition yet. Now, one of the potential downfalls of this, I guess, it's a concern a lot of people have, is that you are inviting these brands and so forth into your home to kind of listen in on your lives. Because once you have, Alexa up, it's on all the time. If you don't turn it off and on, it's on all the time. And it is hearing things. So, there's some privacy concerns there.
Yeah, there are a lot. I mean, I shared with Melody off air that I had given my kids all this, thinking, oh, there's a new gadget for the young ones. And my daughter returned it because she has to do top secret stuff. And she said, wow, this cannot be in our home.
Because I'm telling you, we don't know what it's hearing and what it isn't. I mean, it's hearing, we can just assume, let's just assume it's hearing everything if you have it. Mm-hmm. So that being said, it's being well embraced because people like easy. They like fun. They like new. They like easy. And there's nothing easier than walking through your house and thinking, oh my gosh, I need to put such and such on my shopping list, and just telling Alexa to do it for you. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a plus on doing that. But I look at the other side. So that's why I carry sticky notes in my pocket.
There you go. The old-fashioned Alexa.
Yeah, I'm the old-fashioned Alexa. We've got that. All right.
Oh my gosh!
You talk about. I think that's so. So it's got some deals. Now, here's a concern. I'm going to throw another concern. So now Alexa can read my book, and those people haven't paid for the audio for my book.
Oh.
I know.
I hadn't thought of that. I had not thought of that.
I just thought I'd bring that up. Those are called rights.
That's true. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, my goodness. Oh, there's always something.
Yes, there is. Okay. Talk about some of the behavior shifts that are happening.
All right. So the behavior shift that's the biggest one is that everybody who uses social media is experiencing a high level of fatigue. Yeah, they're just tired. We're just, even me, I work in the business and there's so much going out there. There's just so much going on. So a lot of information overload. And so the thing for authors to remember is that users are tired, and they actually right now they're wanting to interact less, but they still want to do some passive, what's called maybe passive consumption, which is where audiobooks come into play, for example. All I have to do is turn it on and it does stuff for me, and I'm still getting entertained and I'm still interacting, but I'm not having to do anything.
Okay.
So that's one way to maybe kind of get around the fatigue that we're seeing. Podcasts, and then the smart audio, reading your books, and videos. These are all basically passive consumption if you think about it. And so what authors can do is they can make sure they have ebooks and audiobooks published out there. Perhaps they could host a podcast. Perhaps they can be a guest on a podcast. This is all, sort of hopping onto the fatigue bandwagon of passive consumption going on right now, and making sure that you're available for that type of consumption. And so,
Yeah, I think that also allows for those of us, I mean, there's so many stats, but the multiple tasking. I have things on in the background. Now, listening to the book is probably not a good idea for me to have in the background because I can get the squirrel factor and I'm off and running and do something else and I've missed the major plot.
Right. And then you have to back it up and you don't know what you've heard and what you haven't. It's not for everybody. That's right. Therefore, it's important to make sure you have different ways for people, to consume your information available. So ebooks might be better. Regular books, you and I both love regular paper books. Some people love some people love audiobooks.
Sales up 3.4% last year.
I think that's fabulous. I love that. Books have not gone away.
But audiobook is also increasing like crazy. Melody, in our last couple of minutes, I want you to talk about this new thing called augmented reality. Can you kiss on that?
I can kiss on it. I'll do my best. I'm no expert, but I just found it so fascinating that I want to mention it. So augmented reality is different from virtual reality. Virtual reality is a totally artificial environment. Augmented reality is where digital information is basically overlaid onto the environment in real time. And so I want you to picture what your GPS might look like, your GPS location on a map. It'll show you where you are on a map. If you think about how you can see a map, a satellite map, and it will put you on top of it, that is a form of augmented reality. That in real time, you are here, and it will put an image over that.
Is that like a green screen? That's a kind of basically a green screen?
I'm not really sure about that. How the details behind it like that. But if you think about, this is how I had to think about it. So on Star Trek, the Star Trek series, you would see a hologram of somebody pop up in the environment that they were currently in. It's like that. That it's coming. It's here. I saw the first one that I saw an example of is a woman who was able to put a hologram of herself standing at LAX airport.
Okay, I've seen that. That's actually been around for a while.
It has been around for a while, and I think it was one of the first ones I had ever seen of that. So I don't know a lot of detail on how it works. I just know that this is big and that it's here, and that there are industries using it. Healthcare, public safety, gas and oil, tourism, totally makes sense. Right. Beauty and marketing, they're all jumping on this AR bandwagon, and they're figuring out how to use it, for what they do. What are the ways to use it?
We are over. I can't
stand. Oh my gosh!
So we have to do another show on augmented reality when there's more.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week,